from the high desert in the great American Southwest. I bid you all good evening or good morning, depending on the time zone you're in, and there are many. From in the west, the Tahitian and Hawaiian island chains, eastward to the Caribbean and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Good visions in both places. South into South America, north all the way to the pole, and worldwide on the internet. ThankYouBroadcast.com. This is Coast to Coast AM. I'm Art Bell, and tonight you're going to get what you've been waiting for. We have with us Robert Wraith, who was the man who sent me these incredible photographs and a videotape of an alien encounter that Dr. Jonathan Reed had about 2 years ago, and you're going to hear the entire story in a moment. As backup for this story, let it be known the photographs are on my website right now at www.artbell.com. In order that you might know for sure that I am not just dealing with computer-generated images, I scanned these photographs, Kodak 35mm photographs, myself. And I've got the photographs, and I held them up for the studio cam, and they're still up there now if you want to see them. So you can know they, whatever it is, it was not manipulated in a computer. These are original Kodak photographs of an alien encounter. You'll hear all about it shortly. I think that most of you by now know the story that we are about to tell. I received a phone call from a young gentleman, Robert Wraith, last Friday night, Saturday morning, who told me an amazing story of an alien encounter and said he had proof. Well, I receive a lot of such calls, so I nevertheless heard the story, said, send the proof. Well, he did. I got a videotape of the encounter. I got a total of 6 35mm photographs, of which I have posted 3. I have a partial script of the story itself. I mean, this evidence just came rolling in, so I put it up on the website where you'll find it now. If you can get into the website, it's in total gridlock at the moment. Even I can't get in. That's how heavily it's being hit for various reasons. And here are now we're going to also bring Whitley Strieber on. Whitley is a contactee and knows a great deal about these sorts of things. And Whitley is going to be listening and then asking questions as I'm going to ask as we proceed. First of all, Robert Wraith, are you there?
I am here.
Okay, Robert was the original man who called me that last Friday night, Saturday morning, right, Robert?
That's correct.
Okay. We now also have with us Dr. Jonathan Reed. Jonathan?
Good evening, Mr. Bell.
Good evening, Doctor.
Honored to speak with you.
Thank you. And listening in the background for the moment is Whitley Strieber in San Antonio, Texas. Whitley?
That's right. I'm here.
All right. Doctor, we have had Robert, I think, as best he was able, lay out the story of what happened. From you, beginning to end, I would like you to, I just want to take the time now to simply say, tell us what happened. And when? First of all, when was this?
Well, this took place approximately 2 years ago, October 1996. And in Washington State, in the Cascade Mountain area, I was hiking, a day hike with my dog. And we had gone some, hour and a half to 2 hours from where I had parked my car up a fairly well-known trail, taking one side trail. It's a fairly mountainous region, but it makes a great hike, great day hike. Mm-hmm. Pacific Northwest is a beautiful area. I'm not sure if you've been here or not.
I have.
But we have some lovely country.
It is beautiful. I've been there, not hiking, but I've been there, so I can well imagine getting out in the wild. So you had a backpack with you, I take it?
Right. I had a backpack. I had some small, day rations. I had my cameras with me, and that's always good for wildlife, that you run across deer and fox and other such.
So you weren't out hunting with guns. You were out hunting with cameras.
Right. I'm not a hunter.
Okay.
But it's a good place to take your dog too, because there's not a lot of places in the city you can let your dog run.
What kind of dog was that?
It's a Susie was a golden retriever, 7 years old.
I've had several Goldens. They're wonderful dogs. So here you were, October 19th, morning, afternoon?
Actually, it was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
3 o'clock in the afternoon. And you were how far down this trail, please?
I was about, I'd say, an hour and a half to 2 hours from where I had parked my Jeep.
Starting point.
Right.
So you were out really in the middle of nowhere.
Exactly.
All right. First indication of, I guess you've got your dog out in front of you, or your dog's running. Susie.
The dog is just going crazy, sniffing nature,
Sure.
feeling amorous. And she's out investigating everything, and all of a sudden she took off like a bolt of lightning, which occasionally dogs do.
Sure.
They'll go after rabbit or fox or, deer even. We had seen a deer earlier in the day. And the same type of thing had happened, but, without incident. This time, I noticed she took off, and then all of a sudden I heard barking. Now, again, this was not something that I was too upset about because raccoons and dogs don't get along.
Figured you probably had something cornered.
Right, which has happened before.
Sure.
But then the barking changed its tone. The tone went from being a normal dog barking at something to almost terror or anger, like it had trapped something.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I thought, this could be a bear, because we do have bear.
Sure.
In Washington State, and so I thought, well, maybe that it's either that or maybe some type of cat. We have some big cats also. So I kind of hurried along up the trail. Now, she was totally out of sight. She was probably 100 to 150 yards ahead of me. Mm-hmm. And the brush was fairly heavy, and there was a ridge that I could not see over. As I proceeded, I decided that maybe I should be cautious. I picked up a branch that was laying next to the path, about the size of a baseball bat.
You thought you might be walking into the arms of a bear rearing up, or who knows?
Exactly.
Okay.
And at that time, the dog's tone changed from barking to howling.
You didn't take guns with you?
No, I don't have a gun.
Now Susie's howling.
Susie is howling and sounding like she's being mauled.
Yeah, you can tell when a dog is in a fight for its life. It makes a very different sound.
Right. It's almost a yelping versus a barking. At that point, I came up across the ridge and turned to my right and saw the dog completely surrounded by what looked like a furious, moving target. And the only way to describe it is the air around this subject that I was looking at was vibrating very, very fast.
Vibrating?
Almost like a paint shaker.
Okay, I know what you mean. Sure, they're very
was
fast.
Moving so fast I could not make out exactly what I was looking at. At first I thought it was a child, but then I knew it wasn't.
When you say target, this is Whitley Strieber, what did you mean, a moving target?
Well, it was vibrating so fast, my vision was targeted on it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, in other words, Whitley,
it looked like a target, but
the analogy was good. The paint shaker where you kind of see a blur of movement. I think that's what he means.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
At that point, I watched my dog grabbing onto the forearm of this being as the being grasped the snout of my dog, literally tearing the head off.
God.
And at that point, I was so emotional that I literally yelled for the dog to let go, not realizing exactly what it was happening and looking at. And this was happening so quickly.
You're trying to call off your dog.
Right. And at that moment, this creature looked back at me and stopped and that was the first time it quit vibrating.
Gotcha.
And it looked at me, turned its head down just a little bit, and gave me this look that could kill. Turned back to my dog, and at that point, my dog started to die.
Now, it started to die.
I could tell that it was over.
You were basing this on what? I mean, it started to die.
Having her head torn back.
Oh, my.
Literally, jaw exposed and her head torn back. This is all happening in seconds.
I understand.
At that point, I ran forward, and I don't know where the logic came from. I don't know. There was no forethought. I literally struck with this bat, hitting the creature.
When the creature stopped vibrating, at that point you had a clear, I would presume, a clear look at the creature's full body and face and arms and legs, and you saw the whole creature clearly at that point.
As clear as it could be under the circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
An important fact to remember, too, something Jonathan forgot.
Stay close to that phone, Robert.
Okay. To mention is the fact that the dog actually was sucked into itself.
Sucked into itself.
It started to literally implode.
And the alien at this point, what obviously is an alien, according to the photographs, just stood there.
It had better be.
Pardon?
It had better be an alien.
Oh, it was an alien.
We don't want these things living here.
It stood there and kind of took a step back, looking at the spot where Susie was. And at that point, turned, and at that point, looked toward me as I lunged at it.
For those who don't have computers and have not yet seen the photograph, can you describe this creature for us?
Yes. I've had a long time to look at what I was with and consider what category it would be in. And the physiology of it is similar to what people call a gray, but yet the facial structure, the actual skull structure, I believe is smaller.
How tall was it?
It was about 4.5 feet tall.
4.5 feet.
Right, about
Was
53 inches is what we finally measured.
How many inches?
53.
53.
Could you describe its body as being graceful?
Very, very fast.
No, I mean in the way that it looked.
Pardon?
The appearance of
Did
the
it
body.
have a graceful appearance, the body, or an angular one?
Very thin appendages.
Uh-huh.
And when it moved, but it moved with such speed that I almost could not see some of the appendages during that time.
Did it walk as we walk?
It took a step backwards when I saw it, and it literally was a step back.
A step as we would imagine
Yes.
a human step,
Yes.
all right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now, this all happened within, 10 to 15 seconds. It was very quick.
Of course.
Now, the eyes of the ET looked a lot like the Greys.
Yes.
Angular, large, bulbous shape. But they were a different color. They were a pinkish, dark pinkish in color.
That's something that's described fairly often, actually.
Is it?
Yeah, it's not much in the literature, but in letters, you get a steady stream of letters describing that color.
All right. Dr. Reed, are you still, you are a psychiatrist, is that correct?
Psychologist.
Psychologist, all right.
I used to be.
Used to be. You are no longer practicing?
No, I'm not.
Were you practicing at the time this occurred?
Research.
I
was a researcher.
You were a researcher, and you self-employed or?
Yes.
Self-employed. All right. Hold on. We're going to take a break here, everybody.